Hello, welcome to my video presentation. I am Attila Turzo, an international master and chess coach. In this video, I would like to show you a game which I played in a simul in the 25th of July in 2015 against Checkmate. I played with white. I played with 15 people in the same time, with a time control of 30 minutes plus 15 seconds per move. I started with e4, Jim replied with e5, king pawn opening. We both control the center. Knight f3, I attacked his e5 pawn, and he played knight f6, counter-attacking my e4 pawn. It is the Petrov defense which gives good chance for black to equalize. I captured an e5, black attacked the knight with d6, knight moved back to f3, and black won back the pawn on e4. Knight c3, developing the knight. Black exchanged the knights. I captured with the d pawn to open up the diagonal for the bishop and the way for the queen. Knight c6, developed his knight. Bishop f4, I was planning to castle long, so I developed the bishop quickly. Bishop e6, he also developed queen d2. h6, he controlled g5 to prevent knight g5 in the future, bishop g5. And I made a castle long, tricky move which leaves the a2 pawn undefended. He captured on a2 with the bishop. The a2 pawn was a poisoned pawn. The bishop will be imprisoned. Instead of the capture on a2, bishop e7 need to develop instead this way. Bishop e7, bishop d3, queen d7, white and black both develop rook he1, castling long, king b1, king b8, the kings are in a safe square, and then black could improve his pieces by bishop f6, rook ha8, and later can think to advance the d pawn. This would give Jim a reasonable good game. But instead of bishop e7, he captured on a2 the poisoned pawn, and I played b3, blocked the bishop. He played bishop e7. Instead of bishop e7, a5 would give more chances for counterplay. a5, king b2, going to win the bishop. a4, king takes a2, a takes b3, king takes b3, bishop e7, developing bishop d3, developing castling. And black has more counterplay in this variation than in the game, because the white king is weaker than in the game. Let us go back. So b3, and here he played bishop e7, king b2, I went to attack the bishop, g5. He decided to create some counterplay, bishop e3, g4, stayed my knight with knight d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop f6, neutralizing the bishop, rook e1 check, king f8. I captured the bishop on a2, captured my bishop on d4, queen takes d4, attacking the rook, rook g8, Black saved the rook. Bishop c4, developing the extra bishop. c5, he decided to create some counterplay, but this move also leaves the d5 square very weak and the d6 pawn will be backward pawn. Queen d5, queen a5 check, king b2, queen c7, rook e4. I decided to add the rook to the attack with rook f4. Rook g5 attacks the queen, queen d3, h5 just defends the g4 pawn. And here I made a mistake, I played rook f4. I put the rook to an undefended square. Instead of rook f4, queen e3 would be better, which would still defend the rook and attack the black rook. And if f6, then queen f4, the queen would go to attack the f6 pawn. King g7, rook e6. And white should attack on the king side and have a good advantage. Instead of this, instead of queen e3, I moved the rook to f4, and here Jim found the best move, which was d5. It's a counter-attack. He moved, a double attack actually, attacks the bishop and the rook in the same time. And here I made another bad move, because I was just thinking to capture with the bishop and attack on f7. I forgot about my rook. And I captured with the bishop on d5. Instead, still queen e3 would be the best move to defend the rook, which is more important to defend than the bishop to save. So I captured on d5, captured on f4, I captured on b7. At least I got 2 pawns for the rook. Rook e8, f3. I decided to open up the position against the black king. a5, g3, queen c7. And here I made another mistake. I was happy to attack his rook with my pawn, but I forgot about, after the capture on b7, the h1 rook will be also hanging. So instead of f4, bishop e4 was the only good move. White is fine. His activity compensates the material disadvantage, like the rook e5, queen c4, queen d7, rook f pawn gives good counterplay for white. So instead of bishop e4, I played f4. He captured my bishop, I captured the rook, and he captured my rook on h1, and black has upper rook. I played queen d6, tried to get some counterplay with my only piece. Here he made a mistake by king g7. It's a mistake which gives time for white for counterplay. Instead of that, king g8 would be the best to prevent the checks. And after g6, the black queen comes back to defend. G takes f7, king takes x7, queen d7 check, rook e7. Black can stop the checks and he can go for the queen exchange and to attack the white king. Instead of king g8, he played king g7. And here I had a chance for a draw, but I decided to make the wrong check. I gave the check on f6, but the right check would be on h6. Because after king g8, g6 is strong enough for a draw, because black should capture. And after the perpetual is forced. If after g6 black plays queen d5, defend the f7 pawn, then white can get back the rook by queening the pawn. Black should sacrifice, and this would lead still possibly a draw, 5 pawns against 5 pawns. So I played, instead of the good queen h6. Queen h6 is important because the queen needs to go to h6 to be able to create threats on the h file. The disadvantage of the f6 is the queen is attacks only the f7, which is relatively easy to defend. Here, king f8 is again a mistake, should go to g8. So after check on f6, king g8 goes to a winning line, because after g6, queen d5 defends the f7 square, and after the exchanges, the king is safe. But he also made a mistake, and he moved the king to f8 instead of g8. And here I had the chance to possibly get a draw by trying to make perpetual with the check on h8, and if king e7, then going back to f6, king f8, then just queen h8 perpetual check, so we will go possibly to d7 instead of from the check, but then I can start to capture the pawns, check, and trying to give checks forever. And white has a good chance for a draw because the black king has no pawn shelter and the white king has a very solid position. So this would be the drawing line. But I made a mistake and I played with g6, which in the other line would give sometimes a drawing chance, but here it was not enough. If black would play the right move, which was queen d5. Queen d5 needed to defend the f7 pawn this way and leaving the e7 escape route for the king. After g7 is not enough for a draw because king g8 is queen h6, threatening queen h8 checkmate, but black can play f6, and after the check on h7, h8 king f7, and it wins. But instead of queen d5 in the game, Jim defended the f7 pawn with the rook, and this gave me the chance to give a nice checkmate on h8. So, if we want to take some conclusions out of the game, I think the most important ideas are the following. First of all, be careful when to capture pawns because it may be a poisoned pawn like it was on a2. Then try to play maybe quickly a5, a4, opening up the position against the opponent king. Be careful when to move the pawns if you create some weak squares like here on d5 or on the d6 backward pawn. Be careful when you put pieces on undefended squares like on f4, because it may lead some nice double attacks like it was in the game with d5. And instead of following your own ideas, like attacking ideas, be careful what the opponent wants. So check for the attacking moves and save the more valuable piece like the rook instead of the bishop. And calculate one move longer, not just you are happy to capture the rook, but look what if the opponent will also capture your rook, like what mistake I made. And one more idea is try to prevent the opponents to giving time by allowing checks, like king g7. And if you have the chance to give checks, like which I had here, try to go for the perpetual immediately instead of creating mate threats, which I did. And it worked out actually, so there are sometimes it's risky moves, like it was a double-edged move with the potential win, which I was able to reach after the rook 7, queen h8 checkmate. Thank you very much for watching this video.